não tivemos Resident Evil 9 na BGS, mas por outro lado a gente teve aqui o Resident Evil Survival Unit, que é o novo jogo que vai lançar para celular. Apesar de não ser muito fã de jogos mobile, fui de coração aberto para poder testar o jogo e também pude entrevistar a galera ali da Joy City, desenvolvedora do jogo, para trazer mais informações para vocês. O meu tempo ali para testar o Resident Evil Survival Unit foi dividido entre uma apresentação que os desenvolvedores mostraram para mim, a minha gameplay, bem como também um final com perguntas e respostas. Agora, uma coisa que eu fiquei surpreso é que eu gostei mais do Survival Unit do que eu tinha inicialmente imaginado. O game ele faz uma mistura de 3 tipos de jogos diferentes, se a gente for parar pra ver. A gente tem uma gameplay que parece um pouco as dos Resident Evil clássico, né? Então a gente tem um cenário em câmera fixa, em um ambiente que na demo foi o mesmo ambiente do Resident Evil 2, mas eles já falaram que vão ter outros cenários pra gente poder explorar. E inclusive tem bastante easter egg, não só nas interações dos personagens, mas também nos puzzles que são colocados pra gente, que em alguns casos são praticamente o mesmo puzzle que a gente tinha no remake do Resident Evil 2. Só que o jogo ele traz uma história original, nós controlamos um protagonista novo que é colocado ali pra gente no meio dessa história e, como vocês vão ver na entrevista, a história vai se desenrolar de uma maneira diferente. Mas não tem só essa gameplay. Em alguns momentos você vai ser colocado em um esquema que parece um Tower Defense, né? Então a gente vai vindo uma horda de inimigos em nossa direção e nós vamos posicionando personagens para poder defender aquela localização. Personagens esses que têm habilidades que podem derrotar inimigos mais rápidos e a gente vai ter que ir manejando o lugar que a gente vai colocando e quando a gente vai usar essas habilidades. Bem TDzinho mesmo, Tower Defense. Apesar de ter sido bem no início ali do jogo e a gente não ter tido muito tempo para poder jogar, eu gostei ali desses 2 tipos de gameplay conversando junto. Mas a gente tem um terceiro. E o terceiro é onde você constrói uma base. A gente tem essa visão aqui de um mapa onde a gente vai colocando recursos em estruturas que vão dar algum tipo de benefício pra gente. Essa foi a parte que eu tive menos tempo para poder conferir, então não consigo trazer umas opiniões muito mais concretas. Vale a pena notar que o jogo tá 100% traduzido em português, bom demais, e ele é um jogo free to play. E por ser um game free to play, a gente não precisa pagar para jogar, mas fica-se o questionamento sobre a monetização. E já chegaram a falar na entrevista que o jogo não vai ser exatamente um gacha, que você não precisa ficar, tipo, rodando por uma chance de ter um personagem, que os personagens como a Claire, o Leon, eles não vão precisar rodar no gacha pra gente poder obter eles, mas que a gente pode comprar eles diretamente mais cedo. Então, parece que a monetização tá vindo pela questão de aceleração em adquirir o personagem, adquirir alguns certos conteúdos. É válido destacar também que ele vai ter um acesso de multiplayer, que também a gente discutiu aqui um pouquinho na entrevista. Então, sem mais delongas, rapaziada, vou passar para vocês o que a gente discutiu com os desenvolvedores do Resident Evil Survival Unit.
I am Chanyeon Kim from Joy City. I'm company director and producer of this project. I have a few questions about survival units in regards to its lore. So, we have a few liberties when it comes to lore. The demo we just played was a section of Resident Evil 2. Yeah. But will you go to other Resident Evil games along the way? So, our games start a time frame in between Resident Evil 2 and 3. And we actually specifically want you to, we all remember how Claire Redfield and Leon Scott Kennedy played through the Raccoon City. We don't want you to duplicate the same experience. Rather than we create our own character, so he follows those 2 characters. So you have a different perspective. But then the story gets deviate from there, where the original game, the Marvin, the police officer, dies in the game, right? Marvin is one of everyone's favorite. But in our game, you are actually save the Marvin and escape the Raccoon City with him.
Oh, so we have a different endings from.
Yeah, cool. So other Resident Evil has a great characters, but many of them dies in the series. But in our games, those characters can be survived because we are the survivor unit. You get to save those characters. So most of them joins you later. So later on, as the story progresses, you kind of find out more stories going along with it. But then it is about
Capcom also want us to be the survivor unit is not only about the uniquely following the original games, but it's a unique game its own. So our character is not a warrior. He when you play, you might notice whenever he shoots the gun, he most of the time he misses because he never fired the gun before.
I was surprised by that because the zombie was so close to me. Damn.
So he's not a warrior, but he's a very smart person, a strategist. So later on, he's more like come up with a strategy and battle plan, and sending most of the hero characters to fight for the good battle and saving people and retrieving the secrets from the Umbrella facilities. So it's getting more into that. We are following those kind of storyline. The strategist working with other Resident Evil characters and pursuing to saving more people. But then as the characters from the 3, 4, 5 are starting to join.
Even 5?
Not gonna say it, but the more characters, even from characters from the side stories, will gonna join. We kind of interact with them, start to uncover a little bit of the story, what they can bring to us. I mean, the main story is following our own characters. I mean, if you doesn't have enough time to play later part, but in our we love the Resident Evil 1, right? With that manner and all the creepy environment. We wanted to bring it back, but we cannot because that manor is destroyed. So later, when you escape from the Raccoon City, you got the ominous call. Actually, it's from Ada Wong to tell you there is a safe house, which is not that safe, with a lot of secrets. When you get there, it is about 20 minutes away from the horde of zombies gonna lay that safe house. So you run around to find this whole manor and bring the power back up, bring the defenses back up, and find out there's a tons of mystery and secrets underground. So while you are doing it, more other characters actually joining in. And as the later characters are coming in, we are planning to add more of the story adventure play part later on. So in the beginning, we have to build our unique world setting with this manor mystery. But later on, we are thinking about to bring other series locations, maybe the action adventure, the single player portions. So we are still thinking about it, but there is just because of the Mr. Hashimoto has a relation with a lot of great Japanese gaming industry artists and creators. So a lot of collaboration is being planned. So after we go through all that, we are trying to bring more original game stories, some of it into this game as well.
Looking forward for the collaborations. What about the main character?
Yeah.
He does look a lot like Ethan.
Oh yeah, that's actually very interesting. In our original design, his face also shadowed, covered up, because we don't want anyone to overemphasize him as a character, but we want to represent you as a player. But when the whole this kind of a single player section and all the background story is getting developed up, it was actually the Capcom suggest us make him into decent main character and give him the personality and make him represent our game. I mean, make him more interesting, right? So we actually bring him as a character, but Irishi is not he's a hunter. But if you see our trailer, he's more like a strategy guy. So he brings out his top laptop, always looking for the data and sending the people. But when time comes, he flip up the laptop and killing the zombie with it. So he's a kind of guy. So we might be able to creating more his personal side of the story maybe later on. But it is more about collaborating with everyone's favorite Resident Evil characters.
Cool. I noticed that there's multiple types of gameplay in the game. Capcom has already tried a lot to have a live service of Resident Evil with a few different approaches. How did you come to this final version of multiple game styles?
I mean, there's a whole different league of history how this interesting project come together and why there is Capcom and Aniplex and Joy City, 3 different companies working together. But let's make it short. We can totally understand when Capcom tries to create an operational game. I mean, it's not easy because the Resident Evil itself is very fixed and completed masterpiece. And bringing the experience from the perspective of the complete game side to making it operational is very difficult. But from Joy City, we used to create console games, but at the same time we have been creating a lot of strategy games from the mobile, even operational game standpoint. So users' consumption patterns and what the benefit of the device can give you is totally different. Console is great for really focused 7-8 hours intense gameplay.
Yeah.
But mobile is always with you. You have you have longer time access to it, but your attention span is really short.
Yes.
So the both of it mixing it doesn't really work. But it has to be totally changed into something else to create something close to the original game, but that suits your new environment. So that's why we bring in strategy. I mean, the Capcom, when Hashimoto-san wants to create the Resident Evil game, he first thought about the action adventure in mobile, but then Capcom stopped him. I mean, Hashimoto-san, if you want to create a horror game in mobile that no one listens to the sound, that's impossible. You gotta make a horror game working without sound. That's almost not gonna work. So what he actually came up with a strategy portion that in survivor situation, if you miss your survivor strategy way back then, there's inevitable future of the destruction is coming your way, and itself can be very horrifying. But when it comes to the online multiplayer, you might deviate from that destiny by helping from the other player that you're working with. So we want to create the dynamic and also same time create our game as a more like a theme park or Resident Evil world-based setup that once everyone finishes the original game, the game is done. What else we can do? You can come here and immerse yourself in the Resident Evil world and creating your own manner and working with your original Resident Evil characters, but same time playing with community or the other Resident Evil fan. You might want to create a Brazilian alliance and trying to beat our original Resident Evil boss character first. There might be other alliances competing with you to get that boss before you, or they can work together to beat the boss and going to the next stage to getting closer to the central portion of the Umbrella's secret laboratory. So we want to create this kind of world that everyone casually coming in and enjoy the Resident Evil together. And that's why actually the single player portion is a small, maybe 30% small portion of our gameplay. Bigger player is for users to create their base and community as a whole.
I really enjoyed the multiple types of gameplay. There's a lot of Easter eggs, so it was very, very fun, very cool. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And I hope it's already a successful launch and pre-registered. Huh?
Right, it's in the pre-register. I mean, and we about 95% complete. And we are currently in soft launch in 4 countries together, whether it's technically stable or getting users' data where we can improve the game and finalize the game. Once it's done, we will release globally. So we hope it happens within this year.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
É isso, meu clã, me dizem aí abaixo o que vocês acharam, pretendem jogar aí o jogo, que vai lançar em algum momento aqui de 2025. Deixa abaixo nos comentários e, é claro, curtiu que o vídeo, meu clã, não esquece de deixar aquele crítico aí no like, se inscreve no canal e segue a gente nas nossas redes sociais. Eu fico por aqui, um grande abraço pra vocês, até mais e fui!